So, good morning, good evening, good afternoon to everybody, depends where you are. Let me take off my mask. My name is Silvia, and I take care of the international affairs for Centro Studi Galileo. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to this pre-COP26 side event for All4Climate Italy 2021. I am here in the City of Casale Monferrato town hall together with the mayor of the city, Federico Riboldi.
Good morning to everyone.
And with the Director General of Centro Studi Galileo, Marco Buoni. Together with us, remotely, we have the former Director of UNEP and now Chairman of TERRE Policy Centre, Dr. Rajendra Shende. Hello, Dr. Shende. We have also Dr. Vanu Nyupane from UNESCO, connected remotely with us. Good morning, or good afternoon for you. And we have also Mr. Paolo Buoni, connected from Scotland, Edinburgh, the Director of the Renewable Energy Institute.
Good morning, everyone.
I would like to thank you all for taking the time for being here and for joining us today. I will have the pleasure to welcome and guide you briefly through a quick user guide while we wait for all the 200 subscribed participants to join us. So I will start showing you how Zoom works, because nowadays we are used since 1.5 years to use Zoom every day, but some of you may not be customary with that. So this is the screen that you will see. You see the control bar at the bottom. You will be muted and you will not have the video, just to simplify the procedures. But when there is the Q&A sessions, you will be very welcome to start your video and microphone also. Then you see that there is the list of participants, the chat, the share screen, and the reactions. Just to explain exactly the button participants, there you can use it for two things. No, sorry, that's the button chat. There was a mistake. The button chat, which is exactly on the right, you can use it to talk with the other participants in the side event, as well as you can use it to send your questions. So we simply ask you to use this formulation that we put on the right-hand side of the page. So you write question for the speaker's name and then your question. You can send them to all panelists, and attendees. So everybody who's here can see your question. Or if you simply don't want everybody to see it, you can send it to my account. That's fine. We will read it during the dedicated sessions. Then this is the right button, participants. You can see everybody who is here with us. For this reason, to let everybody know who is who and who is here, then we will ask you to rename yourself. So put your name, surname, and company or institution. Like you see for myself, Silvia Romano, CSG. And then also the others can do it. If you want to send us a reaction to tell us you like the event, to say, I don't know, you like the presentation, then you can also click on the reaction button and you simply can send a thumbs up or an applause. We will be very happy to see that. This is just a few useful links for the event of today. You can see the first link is the agenda that you have also received in the reminder email that was sent this morning. And then you see all the links for the project. Don't worry, you don't have to write them down. We will share this PowerPoint with you so you have them all the time. Last but not least, I will, before giving the word to my colleague Durga Kamat from TERRE Policy Centre in India, I will show you the agenda for today. Other than this short introduction that I am doing, then Durga will make another introductory remark. Then we will have the pleasure to listen to Dr. Vanu Nyupane from UNESCO, who will talk about young people and sustainable development goals, a very, very topical argument. Then we will listen to Dr. Rajendra Shende from TERRE Policy Centre. He will explain to us learning by doing and sharing, how the Smart Campus Cloud Network works, which is the main topic of this event. Then Federico Riboldi, the mayor of Casale Monferrato, will give a short presentation about education and sustainable development, presenting the case study of our city. Marco Buoni, director of Centro Studi Galileo, will then show training, of course, skill building for global youth in energy and HVAC. And then Paolo Buoni will give some concluding remarks, which is very important to wrap up. We will then proceed to questions and answers. Before giving the word, I am very pleased. I took some notes because this is a very important moment. I would like to introduce you who is going to speak. So first of all, Dr. Vanu Nyupane, he serves as project manager for UNESCO. And among other things, he greatly contributes to improving access to scientific data and information. And he holds 2 PhDs, one of them is in water resources management. Dr. Rajendra Shende is chairman of TERRE Policy Centre in India. He's former director at UNEP, so UN Environment Program, and he's a leading expert in sustainable technologies and policies. Nonetheless, he's a long-standing friend of Centro Studi Galileo, of course. Federico Riboldi, the mayor of Casale Monferrato, Italy's capital of refrigeration, and also former public relations manager for Centro Studi Galileo. And together with his team, he makes daily efforts to improve the quality of the local community's health and education, as we will show later. Marco Buoni, of course, I guess you all know him. He's the Director General of Centro Studi Galileo, the Secretary General of the Italian Association of Refrigeration Technicians, as well of the European Associations of Refrigeration Technicians, that is representing 24 associations from 21 countries that represent 13,000 companies and 110,000 technicians. So you see that this is a very, very important association. And last but not least, of course, Paolo Buoni is a renewable energy advocate, founder and director of the first Renewable Energy Institute in Europe, which is the one he leads in Scotland, Edinburgh, and also of the European Energy Centre, working for the adoption of sustainable technologies and best practices in education around the globe. Now, all this said and done, I thank you very much for the attention, and I will be pleased to pass the word to my colleague Durga Kamat from TERRE Policy Centre in India. Thank you very much.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon to all. Greetings from TERRE Policy Centre. It is my pleasure and a great honor for me to, on behalf of TERRE Policy Centre, to welcome all the participants today for the pre-COP26 side event on the auspice of All4Climate. I welcome all the eminent speakers and the guests from India, Italy, and UK to share their knowledge with the climate conscious community. This conference is conducted on a digital platform and is broadcasting from Italy. And we are proud to announce this conference is conducted along with cooperation of Centro Studi Galileo, and I would like to extend my thanks to Ms. Sylvia for arranging for this event and cooperating with me. And thank you for attending the pre-COP side event. We hope your time here is productive and meaningful. I would also like to introduce you all to the side event topic, that is Smart Campus Cloud Network, a digital network of universities. Thank you.
Yes, yeah. Thank you very much, Durga. It was a very nice introduction. And if you allow me, then I will pass the word to Dr. Banu Newpane to kick off the first presentation of the event.
Sure.
Okay, thank you very much. Dr. Newpane, can you hear us and can you see us well?
Yes, can I share my screen then?
Absolutely, I've stopped my sharing. Okay. Excellent, we see it. You just need to make it full screen and then we go.
I have prepared a very simple, slide. Let me just, take you to the basics, to start off with. And thank you so much, for inviting me to this, very interesting event that we are organizing as a pre-COP event for that will lead to the main COP event in Glasgow. Everybody remembers, 2020. I remember 2020 as a very interesting year in the sense that it was quite tumultuous in all possible sense of the word. Not only that, we found our lives constrained in all possible sense due to the pandemic, but it also gave us a few amazing scientific features to witness. I'm not too sure to what extent you actually are following on these things. Supercomputing climate model was applied to establish a more realistic temperature rise to estimate for the Earth, first time ever. Hadron Collider experiment discovered a tetraquark particle never witnessed ever in the history of humanity. Nano AI became a new fad in the artificial intelligence world, and that is also taking things by storm. So there were several other extraordinary breakthroughs that happened during 2020. Yes, we live in a very interesting world, and that is full of enormous contradiction. In spite of the pandemic, Forbes list added 500 new billionaires to its list. Collective fortune of these billionaires jumped from $8 trillion in 2019 to $13.1 trillion in 2020. We have extreme wealth and extreme poverty, and this webinar is full of an audience consisting of well-educated people, and there are 115 million youth who are out of school as we speak. Let me now take you to the basic. Basic need these days are defined in terms of absolute minimum resource necessary for survival. You may all have joined here after a good breakfast or after a good lunch in the comfort of your comfortable home. Sadly, last night, 690 million people, or a staggering 8.9% of the world's population, went to bed on an empty stomach. Recent COVID-19 pandemic has made it this worst. An additional about 100 million people were added to the list of those people who slept hungry. It is a matter of debate whether their hunger is a temporary phenomena or that is going to end after the pandemic, but they will still worsen the state of hunger at a global scale. Since 2014, the number of people affected by hunger has been slowly increasing, and we estimate, or the United Nations estimates, that it will exceed 840 million by 2030, and that is when Sustainable Development Goal will come to an end. As for the comfort of the people of home is concerned, 1.6 billion people worldwide live in inadequate housing, and there is an alarming rise in homelessness globally in the last 10 years. Since the employment is as bad, rendered worse due to the impact of recent pandemic, a recent ILO-based survey carried out in 112 countries reported that the impact of pandemic on young people has been systemic, deep, and disproportionate. It has been particularly hard on young women, young youth, and youth in lower income countries. Young people are concerned about the future and their place within it. I can go on and present a similar statistics on access to education or access to water, etc. But just wish to note that we live today in a planet that is crowded, unequal, and degraded. Three systems, that is the world's economy, society, and the planet's physical environment, are witnessing unprecedented failure that is threatening the future of whole humanity. So, realizing this stark reality, in 2015, the international community embarked on a new paradigm of development. They adopted a set of 17 goals as part of their development, their commitment towards the Sustainable Development Agenda. The world redirected itself and its resources to eradicate poverty, hunger, providing quality education and healthcare for all, combat climate change and environmental degradation, building inclusive and resilient cities, and fighting all forms of inequality. However, a few years on, let me speak plainly, we are failing, and I'll show you how. In a sense, there are 17 goals and 169 targets, and Agenda 21 is based on, five P's, people, planet, prosperity, peace, and partnership, and primarily dependent on P, which it stands for a partnership. And then the overall, goal of Sustainable Development Goal is that, no one is left behind. But as Sir Jeffrey Sachs recently wrote in his, phenomenal, publication that came out in about a year ago, there is no one country on track toward achieving all Sustainable Development Goals. That for some countries in conflict, there is reversal in SDG progress, and that the progress towards sustainable consumption and production pattern is too slow, which is goal 12. High-income countries obtained lowest score on goal 12 and goal 14, which is life below water. Many countries generated significant environment, economic, and security spill over that undermined other countries' effort to achieve a sustainable development goal. For goal 13 on climate change, you'll be very surprised to note that even out of G20 countries, only one presented a 2-degree temperature rise scenario compatible with Paris 21 consensus. So perhaps something is wrong, and something needs to a reflection of our collective reflection. And perhaps there is a need to redefine multi-stakeholderism and pass the baton on to someone else, maybe young people, who are the youth power, who can in fact call the shot. So youth have the creativity, the potential, and the capacity to make change happen for themselves, for the community, and for the rest of the world. My organization, UNESCO, works with young people and is committed to accompany them to work together to drive social innovation and change, participate fully in the development of their society, eradicate poverty and inequality, and foster a culture of peace. UNESCO has engaged with thousands of youth to create change through its fora, build youth network, reached out to young people to work on peace building and prevention of violent extremism, and is committed to empowering underprivileged youth by providing them with space to participate. We encourage engagement of youth in UNESCO's action that are designed in different say sectors as well as in frontiers. To this end, UNESCO also encourages youth spaces aimed at empowering young people, fostering and supporting their action, promoting partnership, and ensuring the recognition and visibility. We're of the vision that if countries are to succeed in achieving sustainable development goals and leave no one behind in their quest for development, government must seek out an active and substantive engagement of young women and men from diverse backgrounds. And there is a very pressing need for it. Why youth must be involved in sustainable development goals. And this is something that UN has come to a consensus that young people as critical thinkers and can make sense of personal experiences and asking questions about the world around them. Youth have the capacity to identify opportunities, challenge it, and develop new narratives for development. They are change makers. A few years ago, we must all have witnessed, how youth activism redefined democratic, norms in different countries around the world. They are innovators. They are innovating, new ways of thinking and new ways of doing things. They are great communicators. They are not only communicators singularly, but at the same time, they are connected, a bunch who not only speak, one word, but they kind of relay the voice of a majority. Their leaders, or if not their leader, which Raj, normally, speaks about that, their future leaders, and if they will make or create or take a commitment right now, that commitment will essentially translate to reality in the days to come. And at the same, and the last and I think the most important thing is they are connected and really tech savvy. And because they are tech savvy, they're also connected to social media. And let me now, dive into how young people can be effective in addressing, impact of climate change. For climate change, youth role is very important. Other than developing new environmental friendly habits, influencing policy change, and changing lifestyle, young people can play a crucial role in becoming a critical thinker, innovator, communicator, and leaders in the area of climate change. 90% of the youth in developed countries and approximately 70% in the developing countries are now ICT literate and are active in social media. They can therefore be the fact checkers in our fight against climate change disinformation. This is one program, that UNESCO does. We all know that accurate information about climate change is vital to convince decision maker of its significant impact and the urgent action needed to develop measures to mitigate it. And because of this, because such false information may delay and even hinder urgent efforts to respond to climate change, it is thus crucial that these questions are addressed properly and young people are brought into forefront to become a gatekeeper of such false information or disinformation entering climate change discourse in its entirety. UNESCO also implements a program called UCAN, which is UNESCO's youth-led, flagship effort. It was launched during 25th COP event, and it primarily engages young people, change makers, knowledge holders, and partners to ensure that UNESCO's action toward youth and climate change stays relevant, appropriate, and responsive to the need of the youth on the ground by helping the organization to think out of the box and proposing creative, innovative, and significant climate transformative actions and promoting further youth competencies, skills, and right, which fosters openness as well as inclusiveness and also promotes diversity in all possible sense of the word. So the UCAN program is quite simple. It has got 3 cross-cutting thematic areas where we primarily work. There is a thematic area that deals with education and climate change, and it is kind of in line with ESD for 2020, the new global framework for education for sustainable development. The objective of this particular objective is to provide young people with the appropriate learning skills to better understand the challenges of climate change, better grasp the importance of assuring sustainable development, and have a youth better prepared to respond to critical climate and social challenges. The other thematic line is on science and climate change, which is to somehow involve young people to make science much more relevant for climate action. The other thing, that the third cross-cutting thematic area is on culture and climate change, which aims at making culture and to spearhead a change mindset and behavior to become more environmentally respectful by capitalizing on the world's wealth of diversity and cultural heritage and knowledge. So this is what we are doing. I will conclude because I want a very healthy discussion to follow later. We are at the inflection point at today. There are 1.8 billion young people who are better informed, better equipped than any of us, who are speaking today. So somehow, we'll have to develop together a strategy that can bring, young people in the mainstream of delivering sustainable development goals, as well as, its processes and content to the whole wide world. Thank you so much. You've been a great audience. Back to you, Sylvia.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Dr. Nyumpane, for the clear and excellent presentation. I am sure we will have a lot of topics for discussions during the questions and answer session later. Now, if you allow me, I will pass the word to Dr. Rajendra Shende for his presentation, and I will ask him also to share his screen now that Dr. Nyumpane's screen is not anymore on. And while we wait for that to happen, I invite you to send your questions through the chat so that we can read them to the speakers later. Thank you very much. Dr. Shende, up to you to share your screen.
Thank you very much, Sylvia. My friend Bhanu, he ended his presentation by saying that we are at the point of inflection. Indeed, even this meeting, where we are going to discuss about sustainable development goals as well as climate change, which is in fact a part of the SDGs. This meeting itself represents the inflection point. Let me explain to you very quickly. See, this meeting represents the very unique background of the speakers. We have with us Bhanu from UNESCO. You heard him just now. And he is leading a youth program related to open access to the information and how to prevent the false information moving around on any subject, including climate change. Then we have Marco Bioni, who represents the skill building for the youth in terms of making them climate ready. And then we have a mayor of Casale Monferrato, the young, dynamic, and energetic mayor of that city, who is passionate about youth, education, and also environment and sustainable development. And then we have Paolo Bioni, who represents Renewable Energy Institute. And you will see all these are young people. I'm the only one with the white beard, but I want to remind you one thing, that my white beard represents a unique global success similar to what we are now fighting for climate change, but where we succeeded, that is the ozone layer protection. So whatever I'm going to speak to you, because nowadays there is a fashion that youth talking to youth, particularly on the streets and in protests, but I'm going to talk to you not as a youth, but somebody who is experienced in handling the global environmental issue very successfully. I'm not going to describe how we did it, but I'm going to describe how we can prepare for the next challenge of climate change and the sustainable development goals. So the whole mission of Smart Campus Cloud Network, which is a project of my organization, TERRE Policy Centre, that mission is in this title. The mission is to make the youth SDG ready and ready for climate neutrality. That's the objective. So let's see how we will go around this in mission. Let me also tell you one thing, that inflection point is the speakers represent Italy, Marco Bioni and Federico Riboldi, which is holding the pre-COP26 in a couple of days in Italy, in Milan. And we also have a representative from UK where COP26 will take place, that is Paolo Bioni. There is one more unique point, that we have a politician, if I may say so, Federico Riboldi, who is ready to take youth along to make this happen, whatever Bhanu was telling, what the youth should be doing. So let me start with the slide which Bhanu already said about 17 sustainable development goals. In a simple terms, we are entering in the era of targets and the impact-based solutions. So what we are trying to do in a Smart Campus Cloud Network, we are encouraging students to come out of the classroom and make the campus as a laboratory of the sustainable development goals. And in that laboratory, they should do experiments on enhancing the energy and water efficiency, renewable energy, waste management, sustainable transport, air and noise pollution, which is the other side of the climate change coin, and most important carbon neutral campus. What is the link between SDG and the climate change? There are 9 goals in a 17 sustainable development goals, which are directly or indirectly related to climate change. So that shows the strong, indelible, and very important, critical, crucial link between climate change and sustainable development goals. What is the objective of Smart Campus Cloud Network? In short, SCCN, enhancing the employability of youth. As per United Nations report of International Labour Union, today, about 150 million youth in the world are unemployed, more than what it was the last year in the same quarter. And this figure is likely to go to 500 million youth in about a couple of years. So enhancing the employability and eco-entrepreneurship is extremely important. We have to have international outreach for the youth and a collaboration with developed and developing countries. We are also looking for university to university innovation and creation exchanges. And we are looking for promoting positive competition to accelerate the solutions to the climate change and the sustainable development goals. Why we are selecting campus of the university or higher education institutes? Because as per the survey, if you take all the educational campuses, whether it is a primary school, secondary school, higher education institutes or the universities or the research institutes, they constitute second largest consumer of energy and water. And as you know, 80% of that energy today produces carbon dioxide. It is also a captive ground of young audience, the campus. When the youth comes to campus, they become a captive audience to take action. And they are also tomorrow's consumers. And we want to have a sustainable consumption. They are tomorrow's manufacturers. And we want to have a sustainable manufacturing production. And they are also tomorrow's policymakers, not only in the governments, but also in the industry. That explains why we are talking about the universities and youth. In a campus, we mold the minds, incubate the talents, transform policymakers, leverage the positive competition, and deploy technologies which are digital technologies. And that is mainly for the SDGs. It's not just an idea. It is a project which is ongoing and expanding very fast. There are 350 universities registered, 7 international, under the Smart Campus Cloud Network. The digital dashboard, in order to exchange the information and measure the impacts of the activities in a campus, has already been launched. And their carbon neutrality, climate carbon neutrality of the campus is pledged by nearly 250 universities. And there are extremely important and active partners and associates. Let me start with Centro Studi Galileo, Marco Bioni, who will be one of the speakers, REI, Renewable Energy Institute, UNESCO, who also spoke just now. And apart from that, there is a Ministry of Human Resource Development, now is a Ministry of Education, Gulf Organization of Research and Development of Qatar. There are 2 Chinese NGO, Operation Earth and CBCJDF. They are the partners. There's a climate reality project which was floated by Al Gore. They are the partners. So it is a full of partners and expertise that we have. And these are the list of some of the activities that can be performed in the campus, measured its impact, so that the mind of the youth is prepared when it goes to the market, takes the employment or entrepreneurship, ready to do the similar things or even better things than what is they did in a campus. And the first project is about a carbon neutrality, which I'm going to talk to you just now. So we call this project as a not zero net zero. And it is an ambitious movement that began to transform the educational institutes. Today, we have heard about the countries taking pledge about the carbon neutrality, the cities taking a pledge about the carbon neutrality. But this particular project, for the first time, the universities are taking pledge to make their campus carbon neutral. So it is extremely ambitious. And we feel that once they do it, I think our target of carbon neutrality of the whole world is not far. It was launched on 12th December 2020, not 21, there is a mistake over there. And on the occasion of 5th anniversary of the Paris Climate Agreement. And the Gulf Organization of Research and Development, Global Carbon Council, Energy Efficiency Services Limited, UNESCO, and All India Council of Higher Technical Education, they were the partners in this launch. Many people say carbon neutrality is extremely complex. This slide is a complex. There are so many parts in it. Don't read it, because I believe that carbon neutrality is a simple approach. We call it not zero net zero, but I also call it net approach. N represents new energy. E represents energy efficiency. And T represents tree cover and a forest. And we have developed the guidelines to carry this simple approach for the university campuses, and students can get going now. They don't have to wait till tomorrow. And they already know the advantages. That is a triple bottom benefits. There are economic incentives by saving the energy, social incentives by improving the productivity and employability, and environmental incentives, which I should not say that it solves our this century's most devastating consequential problems and getting the people back into the sustainability. These are the examples of guidelines. One on the left you see is one with the UNESCO that we have developed, which talks about what exactly we mean by the making campus as a laboratory of SDGs. One on the right is inspired by United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres. This particular guideline is about water guideline in the campus. There is a toolkit where you can do a jump start towards the climate neutrality, carbon neutrality, as well as SDGs. This is about the sustainability report, example of what campuses can do it. And in 2020, very early, we produced coronavirus COVID-19 guidelines for campus. This is an example of a dashboard, what I'm talking about, digital dashboard. It is developed by Smart Sense, one of our partners, and Symbiosis is one of the university. And if you know the user password, then you can enter into this digital passport to see what that university is doing and what are the impacts that they are creating in terms of water consumption, energy consumption, waste generation, carbon footprint, etc. This is an example of it. I'm not going into detail of it, but anybody in our audience, and I believe there are a number of youth in our audience who will like to see this digital dashboard, because as Bhanu says, youth like the digital technologies. And the Smart Campus Cloud Network is about digital technology moving towards the sustainable development goals. This is an example that one of the university campuses is putting the air quality index instrument. And this is right in my city, Pune, where we have identified about 10 locations which you can see on your mobile just now. What is the air quality? These are the examples of some of the renewable energy, new energy in a campus roof. This is about a canteen roof. And to end, I just want to tell you, you need to start the action. You don't require any more presentation. Just go to the website, sccnhub.com, register yourself, form a core group, talk to us. We will walk the talk together with you. This project is inspired by a simple statement of Antonio Guterres, United Nations Secretary General, and I will read it aloud to you. To waste this opportunity, that is a COP26 in Glasgow, in the area where Paolo Buoni is sitting at present. He's sitting in Edinburgh, Scotland, not far from Glasgow. And Antonio said that this COP26 opportunity would compromise our last best chance to stop runaway climate change. It would not only be immoral, it would be suicidal to lose this opportunity. And my friends, young friends, my colleagues, we must start now so that no one is left behind. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Schender, for your presentation. And of course, it was super important to listen from you about this project since you built it, and it is also the main topic of our event today. So now I will stop your sharing and I will kindly ask to start the screen sharing for this room so that Federico Riboldi, the mayor of Casale Monferrato, can start making his presentation.
Can you see it?
Can you all see it well? Yes. Okay, thank you.
No, Silvia, io parlo e tu traduci.
Quando ti fermo io vado. Ok.
Buongiorno a tutti, Casale Monferrato è una città di 33.000 abitanti a capo di un distretto di 100.000 persone e 50 comuni.
So I will make a very short translation in English. Of course, since the event is held in Italian in Italy, the presentation of our mayor will be in Italian. So we are in Casale Monferrato. Can you repeat it?
Una città di 33.000 abitanti a capo di un agglomerato di 50 comuni e 100.000 abitanti.
Okay, so we have 30,000 citizens in Casale Monferrato, and it represents more or less 50 other smaller realities, whether they are small towns or villages, and about 110,000 people.
Abbiamo avuto un problema ambientale rilevante che ha inciso fortemente sull'aria, sulla respirabilità dell'aria della città, legato alla produzione di ethanit, di amianto.
As unfortunately many of you know, we've encountered a problem in the past with the production of ethanit, and this compromised the health and livability of our environment.
Oggi
Asbestos.
Oggi porto questa relazione perché chiediamo ufficialmente come città, la città più colpita al mondo dall'amianto, oggi quasi totalmente bonificata, una moratoria mondiale sull'utilizzo d'amianto.
So now, today, Federico is bringing this presentation to raise awareness on this very important topic, especially to bring the topic to close about no more use of this element, asbestos.
Molte nazioni mondiali Sorry.
Mouse bisogna mettere.
No, dietro.
Ok.
Due alla volta. Ok. Molte nazioni al mondo utilizzano oggi l'amianto non solo per le coperture, ma a livello produttivo.
Many companies today, unfortunately, are still using asbestos, not only for their coverings, but also in their production sites.
Qui siamo ancora un passo indietro rispetto ai cambiamenti climatici da combattere per salvare il pianeta.
we are still one step behind in this reason to fight the climate change and safeguard the environment.
Perché in molte nazioni mondiali dobbiamo ancora combattere per salvare direttamente i cittadini dalle fabbriche inquinanti.
Because we still have a lot of work to do to safeguard citizens and workers from working places and production plants that still use asbestos.
Nei miei 2 anni da sindaco ho ricevuto svariate delegazioni di accademici e cittadini da molte nazioni mondiali, ricordo la Colombia, il Canada e l'India, che mi chiedevano come uscire dall'incubo dell'amianto nelle loro comunità.
In his 2 years as mayor of Casale Monferrato, Federico already received many delegations of citizen and academy people and also government representatives, especially he remembers Colombia, India, Canada, that were requesting a help and a way how to exit this problem.
Eternit in Casale Monferrato inizia la sua produzione nel 7 e finisce nell'86. 3.500 lavoratori e 3.000 morti per l'amianto.
As you can see the data on the screen, the production of the Eternit factory in Casale Monferrato started in 1907 and ended in 1986. It counted 3,500 workers, but also 3,000 cases of death because of these health consequences.
La fabbrica è stata chiusa da un'ordinanza del sindaco, anticipando una legge nazionale di 2 anni sulla moratoria dell'amianto. I 3.000 casi di persone morte non sono solo i lavoratori, che sono morti sostanzialmente tutti, ma non tutti sono stati accertati, ma anche familiari e cittadini.
So the closing of the factory was mandated by the mayor, that time mayor of the town, anticipating by 2 years a national law by our government. And unfortunately, the 3,000 cases of death do not involve only the workers of the company, but many citizens of Casale Monferrato.
La famiglia Schmidaini, in particolare Stephen Schmidaini, proprietario della Eternit, considerato fino a pochi anni fa un mecenate a livello globale per la lotta ai problemi ambientali.
Stephen Schmidaini was considered until a few years ago one of the most relevant people to combat climate change.
In generale per la tutela del verde.
Especially to safeguard green and environment.
Era il proprietario della Eternit.
Was the owner of this factory, Eternit.
È sotto processo per strage in Italia.
And he is now being processed for serious problems. Come strage?
Omicidio, murder.
For homicide.
For community murder.
Community murder.
Ha abbandonato la fabbrica nelle condizioni in cui la vediamo.
Unfortunately, he left the factory in the conditions that now you are seeing in the pictures on the screen.
Piena di amianto in polvere che diffondendosi per il territorio ha causato moltissime morti.
It was still full of asbestos in the powder state, which is the most dangerous and can spread in the country and in the countryside and the city, and it caused a lot of deaths.
Nonostante sapessero benissimo la pericolosità di una bomba ecologica di quel genere.
Nonetheless, they were aware of the danger this would cause.
Sul suo profilo Wikipedia, prima del processo, era scritto che era un ambientalista, un mecenate e un cultore del cambiamento verso l'azienda 4.0.
So in his Wikipedia profile before the process, he described himself as an advocate for environmental causes and education.
Abbiamo reagito a questo disastro in maniera compatta, costituendo un sito di interesse nazionale che...
So we reacted very quickly, as the City of Casale reacted very quickly, creating a national interest site.
Che investendo in maniera proficua i 120 milioni di euro messi a disposizione dal governo,
who is investing fruitfully than 120 million euros given by the government,
ha contribuito a essere una delle aree più bonificate al mondo dall'amianto.
allowed this area to be one of the most safe from asbestos at the moment.
E restituire un'aria respirabile ai nostri concittadini.
Especially to give back a clean and healthy environment to the citizens of this city.
Qui si vede il censimento dell'amianto, come funziona, quindi le segnalazioni di coperture, le segnalazioni di polverino che veniva utilizzato per coinventare le case e per costruire cortili, anche nelle chiese e nelle scuole.
Here you can see the process, how asbestos is reclaimed. It starts with monitoring, then the actual reclamation and the dump of asbestos, especially it was used in the powder state, not only in houses and plants, but unfortunately also in courtyards, houses and schools.
È bello vedere la differenza sostanziale tra la città di allora e quella di oggi. La Eternit scelse Casale per la presenza di 100 cementifici e di un grande fiume che poteva fornire acqua. Cemento.
So you can see in the pictures the differences from the past and today, and especially you understand the reason why Casale Monferrato was chosen, because you know we are famous for many things, especially also for the district, not only of refrigeration, but also of cement. And there were 100 companies producing cement, and especially Casale Monferrato is on the River Po, the biggest of Italy. You can see it also in the picture. And these were two excellent conditions to start the plant.
Un grazie particolare all'UNESCO che ha combattuto con noi la sfida di rendere il territorio patrimonio mondiale dell'umanità per i paesaggi vitivinicoli e gli infernoti.
We especially would like to thank UNESCO, since he is also with us today representing this important UN body, for prizing this land, not only for the vineyards, but also for the excellent territory and history and culture. Vuoi dire qualcosa sui giovani?
Sì, adesso ci arrivo. Le sfide di oggi prevedono una città che sia vocata, visto il suo passato, alla sostenibilità ambientale.
So today's challenges, as you can see from the pictures, is transforming this city slowly and with daily work from environmental problems to environment sustainability.
Visto che noi abbiamo avuto un problema ambientale concreto che ha toccato con lutti tutte le famiglie della città,
in fact, in light of this problem that caused health consequences to many families in the city,
molti nostri giovani hanno trovato la loro vocazione nel lavoro per la lotta ai cambiamenti climatici, per la transizione ecologica dei mezzi di trasporto e di riscaldamento urbano.
In fact, a lot of young people found their advocation and especially their working path in fighting climate change, in improving sustainability, especially of transportation, and
riscaldamento.
And also for heating and warming.
La città di Casale si impegna e noi stiamo investendo ogni anno risorse importanti, quantificabili in centinaia di migliaia di euro, in nuove piante.
So the city is committed to using all the resources, which are hundreds of thousands of euros, for especially planting new trees.
L'obiettivo è quello di in 10 anni piantare 5.000 alberi.
With the aim of planting 5,000 new trees in 5 years.
E per ognuno di questi anni abbiamo già messo a bilancio le risorse necessarie.
And this was already planned by the city for the next years.
Nonostante il Covid, anche in questi 2 anni abbiamo proceduto in questa direzione.
And despite COVID-19, also in these 2 years, this was already done.
Enel X ci ha scelto come stazione di ricarica rapida nel percorso che va dalla Svizzera al porto di Genova, e quindi verrà installata una stazione di ricarica rapida dei veicoli elettrici che permette in 20 minuti di avere il pieno di carica elettrica.
Okay, this is interesting. To support this action, Enel X chose this city as fast recharge for electric vehicles in the path that connects Switzerland to Genova, the harbor of Genova.
Il comune offre un contributo speciale a ogni casa ogni palazzo, ogni casa che opera sull'efficientamento energetico, versando denaro contante alle famiglie che decidono di operare in questa direzione. E con questo impermeabilizzare, come si dice cappotto, rendere efficiente la facciata della casa.
And the city is also supporting any family that owns a house or a flat to improve the efficiency of their walls, on their heating, and also if they want to use electric mobility.
Sul fronte dei rifiuti abbiamo lavorato anticipando le tendenze a livello globale e dando una chiavetta a ogni famiglia, servizio che stiamo implementando a tutta la città in modo da responsabilizzare su quello che viene buttato.
There is also an important waste management because every family has a special key to grow the responsibility of everybody on their waste.
Inoltre abbiamo, sempre sul fronte della mobilità elettrica, abbiamo donato come comune una stazione di ricarica per bici elettriche a tutti gli hotel della città.
And also to increase and to support this initiative, the town hall gifted a station to recharge electric bikes to all the hotels of the town.
Infine, ma non per ultimo, con alcune aziende del territorio che lavorano per la transizione dei veicoli a idrogeno, stiamo creando un laboratorio in un autodromo dismesso, che un tempo era un luogo inquinante, per la prova e l'implementazione delle auto a idrogeno, in società con SNAM, che è la prima compagnia italiana che si occupa di questo argomento.
So in collaboration with the Italian company SNAM, there is now a requalification process going on to start a new plant and to requalify this area, which was very polluted and unused, for automobiles and for any vehicle using hydrogen.
Ho avuto l'onore di provare la Alfa Romeo del CEO di SNAM, che funziona a idrogeno e va molto bene.
An example that Federico could try himself was the Alfa Romeo produced by SNAM using hydrogen.
E senza inquinare esprime 450 cavalli.
Okay, this I cannot translate because I'm not an expert of cars, but he says it's going very,
It's very fast e non inquina.
Very fast and not polluting.
Tutto questo è grazie all'impegno dei nostri giovani che hanno sollecitato le amministrazioni locali a lavorare in questa direzione.
And this all happens thanks to the support of the young people of the city. And I can say myself, Federico is also 35 years,
35 years, yeah.
He's among the young people of the city, requesting urgently the ecological transition of the town.
And grazie alle scuole che hanno istituito laboratori sul clima, sull'ambiente, sulla rigenerazione urbana in tutte le scuole.
And this could also happen thanks to the schools of the town that installed laboratories, practical laboratories, about this topic of ecological transitions in every school of the town.
Concludo chiedendovi un grande aiuto, che è quello di sostenere la battaglia della città di Casale per la moratoria mondiale sull'utilizzo d'amianto.
I would like to conclude by pleading your help and support to the City of Casale Monferrato about banning the use of asbestos.
Perché noi abbiamo avuto 3.000 vittime che intendiamo onorare non con una commemorazione di carattere intimo, ma pubblico, per fare in modo che altre città non abbiano a subire lo stesso dramma.
Because we would like to honor and commemorate the 3,000 deaths, not only with words, but also with public action.
Grazie a tutti.
Thank you very much. So thank you, Federico, for the presentation. It was made in collaboration. It was a tandem, but we've been working together for many years already. And I hope all of you could gain some knowledge on this very important topic and how the young people of Casale Monferrato are working for the ecological transition of this place. Now, without further ado, I would like to pass the word to the next speaker, Marco Buoni, who has been working together with his family for many years already for educating the young people of all Italy and Europe in collaboration with UN agencies on these important topics of environment and SDGs.
Thank you very much, everyone. I want to share my screen. Wait a second. I think you should see it
Yes.
in a second. Yes, I think you can see it. So good morning, everyone, and welcome to the All4Climate conference, pre-COP26 here in Italy. And we are very honored to be chosen by by UN to be hosting this important event, together, of course, with UK in COP in Glasgow. So we are very excited about it. And I would like to talk about young people, of course, and about my field of expertise, which is young people in refrigeration and conditioning heat pumps, which is a very interesting and increasing, exciting sector. It's moving fast, it's moving, there is a lot of innovation, so it's very good for young people who want to join. And we are always looking for new people in our sector because we need it. We really need young people in our sector. Let's see. So cooling. Cooling is a global issue. All the world needs cooling through the cold chain, for food and vaccines, for air conditioning, for comfort, for heat pumps, for refrigeration, for our food, but it has got local solutions. Every country is taking local laws, regulations, and for example, on the right, you can see a map that shows what locally every country has done as minimum energy performance index. Every country wants to put a minimum energy consumption of cooling system, air conditioning system in this case. But for every kind of cooling appliances, you have different minimum energy performance indexes and regulations. So it's very important for our sectors. And I want to tell you that by coincidence, but not very much coincidence, but because it's very much needed, the World Refrigeration Day, which was 3 months ago in June 26, the topic was cool careers. The cool youth will save our world 2.0, because we see, which is so important to have new people, new careers, and involve the young people in our sectors. And in particular, we have done a conference, a training, motivating the career opportunities in managing refrigerants, which is something very important for the UN as well, because we are using refrigerants which are, as we know, depleting, used to be depleting the ozone, and now we are doing a very good job through the Montreal Protocol, and are nearly banned, are nearly completely phased out. And now the new challenge is about the climate change, what we are talking today. And we are going to talk in the next 2 months in the COP26, pre-COP26, which is the harmful refrigerant with a very high climate changes, global warming potential refrigerants. So we need people that knows that they should use the right refrigerants and the right place in the right application. And even natural refrigerant, we need safety. We need to focus on safety. Next slide. Yes. I'm the president of AREA, has been said. All this country has done for the World Refrigeration Day special events for the young people. Portugal has launched a cycle of videos for explaining how it's important refrigeration conditioning heat pumps. Netherlands have done some brochures. Finland listed a map of schools, universities, providing education for refrigeration, everyday life and everyday work. And all the countries that we saw did some events during the World Refrigeration Day. And this was very important because in our sector, you have to be assured that we need young people, new persons joining the design, installation, And it is very exciting. I will show you later how it's exciting. But also is increasing, is improving, we have a lot of needs, a lot of opportunities. For example, the IEA, the International Energy Agency in Paris, said that is cooling the future of heating. We've seen probably since the last decades, heating was our major contribution on fuel, on consumption, energy consumption. But cooling is the future of heating. Yes, we are going to see cooling degree days increasing, growing up to 50% by 2050, 70% by 2070, rising the mind of space cooling. This is a map of a population that needs cooling today. We see a very large amount of the population of the countries need cooling. And this, by contrast, is the map of who needs eating, who needed eating, always needed eating till now, and will always need eating till now. You can see that cooling is even more will be largely used in the future than eating. And even eating will be done by heat pumps, which is a cooling system at the end. So our sector is so important. We are going to see an increase in use it. And it is essential. It's essential refrigeration. Cold chain in Africa, cold chain with our partner association, U3ARC, with our nice and friend president, Marisa Gardin, who is taking care of the developing of cold chain in Africa and other developing countries, is vital for the sustainable developing goals. For having all the 17 goals achieved, the cold chain is so important. For the hunger, for the energy efficiency, for the food, for the health, for everything. Heat pumps, decarbonization is an important step for achieving decarbonization. Heat pumps can be run by renewable energy, solar, photovoltaic, wind, waves. Heat pumps can be used with natural energy sources. Global warming is getting, unfortunately, is a paradox, but is getting cool appliances more needed. And even the last 2 years, we see with COVID, air ventilation, recirculation, fresh air, heat recovery, cold chain again, cold chain for vaccines, vital, growing, and it is very exciting for new generation. We need young people doing this job. You can see here the growing, and it's not by me, it's the International Energy Agency. We're going to see global increasing use of air conditioning system. 2/3 of the world households will have air conditioning in the future. China, India, Indonesia together, but all countries in the world will need air conditioning and use more air conditioning. 50% of energy demand in houses will come from cooling systems in 2050. And all continents, I'm talking about the European Union. We are here in the European Union, Italy, UK. Okay, UK left the European Union a few months back, but in Europe, we can see that we are having a lot of innovations, a lot of laws, a lot of regulations, pushing to achieve this target. Energy performance, Renewable Energy Directive, eco-design, circular economy. So we want to reuse what we have, to use our energy. And we have careers, green jobs available. We have certified in Centro Studi Galileo around 10,000 technicians, thanks to F-gas certification. 500,000 certified technicians in all Europe. And there is a mutual recognition around Europe, from Italy to France, to Spain, to UK. UK recently not, but Germany, you can move people around Europe, mutual recognition. We have the same leak check system, energy performance test in Europe, innovations, all this part done, but persons, young people, we believe, we want, that are professionals, more competent person. Logbook filling, recovery, recycling, thing, people that want to go in a one direction. All4Climate. All4Climate, a person that will care about our climate. So I'm going to the last slide.
Sorry, one moment.
No, I can do it. Good, thank you. Very good, very good. Casale, Capitale del Freddo. Our city, capital of refrigeration. Italy is the capital of refrigeration worldwide. You have to know that Italy has got a very important production of refrigeration and conditioning heat pump systems. One of the biggest in the world. I have some data from some years ago that 50% of production of Europe was coming from Italy. And Casale, our town that we are today, near to Milan, where hosting the pre-COP, is the capital of refrigeration. We have here 15 companies of refrigeration. Center of innovation, new refrigerants, increasing energy efficiency, young engineers traveling around the globe to design and maintain the best rack systems. Europe is an example for having the latest innovations that globally wants to be implemented. And systems are designed in Italy and installed all over the world. My slide. We did a lot of workshops in schools. Thanks to Federico, we went to Sobrero, to Leardi, to Liceo, to exchange how is well, how is important, how is good opportunity for all the students to start this business. For money, okay, if they were looking for money, but for the climate, for the energy efficiency, and for the sustainability, for the sustainable development goals that we all have today. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for this presentation, which gave a thorough overview of the job that has been done for young people and for environment. We are a bit ahead of schedule, so I would like to pass the word. Of course, we apologize to you and we thank you for the attention. And I would like to pass the word to Paolo Buoni, Director of the Renewable Energy Institute, for the concluding remarks. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Silvia. Let me just open the presentation. Okay, so my name is Paolo Buoni. I'm the founder and CEO of the Renewable Energy Institute. I'm based in Edinburgh, which is the capital of Scotland, in the United Kingdom. We're very close to Glasgow, which is where, as you all know, COP26 main event will take place. Today, what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you a little bit about the Renewable Energy Institute and how we've been helping the youth achieve what they can within the renewable energy field and sector. We carried out some research as well earlier this year, which specifically focused on youth and how indeed they can help the renewable energy field specifically. So our mission is, as you can see, promoting knowledge sharing and best practice in renewable energy and energy efficiency. We do this along with universities, the United Nations, and we do this through training courses, qualifications, conferences, publications, projects, etc. So we are also part of the Smart Campus Cloud Network, which is a digital network of universities. With TERRE Policy Centre, over the past decade, we've been carrying out several events in the universities, local universities, as well as international universities. Here in Edinburgh, Napier University and Heriot-Watt. We have been running training courses in renewable energy and energy efficiency for over 45 years. And indeed, as I mentioned, we've been seeing an increased uptake by young professionals who want to train in renewable energy and green energy technologies in general. So about the Renewable Energy Institute, in order to achieve this mission, we work with Centro Studi Galileo, TERRE Policy Centre, universities, governmental, intergovernmental organizations, and academics and experts in the field. So by joining, networking these key authorities and organizations, we are able to promote best practice in renewable energy. So people who have been engaging with our educational activities vary from the World Bank to BBC, BNY Mellon, so from big players, but also down to individuals and private participants and organizations. So the training that we carry out and educational activities are quite widespread. We train around 5,000 professionals in over 300 courses around the world every year. So the professionals can then become members of our institute and access research, publications that our experts provide to all our audience, as well as participating in conferences and workshops. The knowledge sharing activities allow all age groups to achieve and learn renewable energy and energy efficiency, also through global roundtables. We have seen a strong demand and strong interest specifically in those technologies, from solar photovoltaic, energy efficiency, wind power, CHP, biomass, wave and hydro, and hydrogen. This is just the top of the iceberg. We have seen huge interest, especially in increasing interest by young people, as I mentioned before. And the next slide will tell a bit more about our research that we've been carrying out. So earlier this year, we asked the wider audience about their behaviors in relation to renewable energy, energy efficiency, but also what they think and they believe the future, well, the current situation is, and the future is in relation to green technologies. We then took a specific group and we analyzed the findings in relation to the younger audience, our younger respondents of this research. So of the age group 18 to 25-year-olds, 56% were females and 44% male of the respondents, whereas the overall survey was only 25% of respondents were females. So this suggests that the younger audience seems to be more women in comparison. So we are certainly seeing an increase in younger women engaging more with green technology and renewable energy in comparison to the wider age groups. 67% of this younger audience, both male and female, said they would consider company's sustainability plan before accepting a job with them. So again, it shows the importance of sustainability within their job role, within the company they would like to work for. So again, youth is certainly very much inclined to renewable energy, to living renewable energy and energy efficiency also in their job. 78% of those who were employed said the company they work for is not doing enough to reduce carbon emissions. So again, there is a more focus needed in regards to organizations doing more to achieve the goals we've been talking about. The main barriers to reducing carbon emissions were unwillingness of politicians to prioritize sustainability. So again, politicians, as we know, play a key role. There is the feeling that one of the main barriers is unwillingness of politicians. So we need to stress with politicians the importance of reducing carbon emissions. This was again throughout all age groups seem to be the same results. Next point is 44% of this age group said they don't have access to green technology. As you can read, 61% said the green technology was too expensive for them to consider. It was lower than the overall results, which was at 77%. And lastly, 94% said it was very important that the political party prioritizes sustainability. This was equal to overall survey results. So again, it shows the importance of politicians being key aspects, key players in the ability of making a change. However, I'd like to make some concluding remarks with regards to what we've heard today. As we know, youth can offer 1.8 billion strong hands that can be utilized to our quest to achieve sustainable development goals, SDGs. So SDGs is a multi-stakeholder process. By default, youth serve as the most important pillar for those processes. There's a need to relook at existing strategies for education, employment, and access to information and knowledge directed towards young people. There's a need to appreciate their role as innovators, critical thinkers, change makers, leaders, and communicators. Initiatives such as You Can must be utilized to the extent possible, as there is a need to forge synergy between this initiative and SCCN for mutual benefits. SCCN is a smart campus cloud network, which is a digital network of universities, which we are also part of as Renewable Energy Institute. So there are strong linkages of climate change with the Sustainable Development Goals. 9 out of 17 SDGs are directly linked or interlinked. Carbon neutrality is not complex, it's simple. It's a net approach. Youth are key to address climate change. They're captive audiences in universities. The Renewable Energy Institute will also work more closely with TERRE on the Smart Campus Cloud Network. We plan to have all universities as registered members of SCCN, which is now becoming a movement. So as we've seen, training and education, retraining, re-educating are key to accomplishing those goals. The examples shown by UNESCO, TERRE Policy Centre, Centro Studi Galileo, and the Renewable Energy Institute prove that this can and will be achieved if we keep putting a strong efforts also in education. We wish great success to all other upcoming COP26 events, knowing that we will make a difference. We must transform so that no one is left behind. So this is the end of the presentation, and thank you so much for listening. Over to you, Silvia.
Very well done.
Thank you very much, Paolo, for wrapping up the conclusions of this event. It was full of contents and knowledge, and we hope that the audience enjoyed it and could gain also some new knowledge. So I would like now to open the discussion. And I have a starting question that may kick off a bit the discussion. And then I would like to ask the audience if they want to send other questions via chat. So the first question, let me find it, is for Dr. Bano Newpane. We would like to thank you for introducing the You Can project. And we would like to know how and who can join it. So you are still on mute. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Sorry about that. You know, I started speaking without unmuting myself.
Okay.
Thank you so much. In fact, you know, as I told you, UCAN was launched last year, and during not last year, but you know, year before that, during COP25, and then there is a steering committee that has been set up. So what we plan to do is, you know, we want to start accepting membership to UCAN starting COP26. So anyone who is interested to become a member or wish to contribute to a UCAN activity, they can simply write us. What I will do is, you know, I'll write the email, you know, in which they have to write to us. And at the same time, you know, what I will also do is, you know, I will share the website of the UCAN initiative. Please do write to us and become a member. So anyone can become a member. All you have to do is, you know, send a small expression of interest. Thank you.
Great. Thank you very much for the explanation. And I would like to give myself a question to Dr. Schender, if you agree. I would like to ask if you can explain in a few words how the young people can contribute to the United Nations SDGs. Not only for university and campus, but I mean in everyday life.
Okay, all right. So let's take one of the examples that is related to climate change, because you have the two goals, which are one related to the clean energy and another related to the climate change, which are two of the 17 SDGs, which clearly has a climate change as one of the subjects there. So what the young people can do in this climate change issues? First, let me tell you what they should not do. First thing is, I personally feel that young people should stop protesting on the street. I think the time for the protest, debate, shouting has all passed. It's like a COVID-19 situation. The climate change is another pandemic. Now, when COVID-19 wave came, people didn't protest. People didn't went on a road and with a placard. I think people started taking action, started developing vaccine, started putting mask. I think that's what is needed today at the climate change. And that's what Antonio Guterres keeps on saying, that we run a risk of runaway climate change, which will not wait for 10 years or 30 years. It can happen in few months' time. So the answer to your question is, start making sure that your fossil fuel consumption goes down. And the youth don't have to tell what does consist of fossil fuel. I think it is in terms of transport and home. You look at India, for example, and I'm sure that is happening in Italy and even in UK. The solar energy projects to generate electricity are spreading very fast. They are no longer costly. Their cost is coming down. They are competing with the coal. They are competing with the gas. And the employability is higher when you use the gas as well as solar energy. So there is no reason why we should not be using solar energy. Yes, we have a problem of battery storage, but those are getting solved. There is a huge lot of research going on in universities for storage of energy. Then it comes to transport. The electrical vehicles, where the electricity is made from the solar energy, is also one of the reasons, one of the ways of making sure that youth can participate in it. And now, lastly, because Sylvia, you told me to use only few words. Lastly, I'm saying the new energy coming up, which you have not heard of, and that is a hydrogen. I think youth can, through the universities and the research, can start working on a hydrogen energy, which according to me, as an engineer, as an engineer from IIT Bombay, I feel that hydrogen energy provides us the ultimate solutions as of today. There may be something more tomorrow, but as of today, for getting rid of climate change pandemic. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the explanation.
I have a question for who want to ask or to reply, because we are here in a few days in the pre-COP, and politicians are going to sit down and discuss about what is going to change in climate change. What do you think are our expectations? Are we going to see more engagement from the big polluter like China and US finally, or we have still some time to go? Are we going to see a new policy from US, in your opinion, with a new government? Who wants to discuss this? I understand difficult topic, a very difficult topic. It's not about health, but it's about politician. What are we going to expect?
In fact, if you want, I can attempt to answer that. See, UNFCCC has always been pretty much a multilateral process, and in that, I think when the US has now rejoined the process, they will come with some commitment, not only with resources. When I presented, I said that out of G20 countries, only one country has until now presented a strategy to contribute or release carbon dioxide in the atmosphere that will only contribute to 2 degrees rise in temperature. Only one country out of G20 countries has presented that particular strategy. So as this is a multilateral process, I think something of some major breakthrough will take place during COP26 for sure. And as US has come back to UNFCCC with a different say form and demeanor, I think some major breakthrough will happen. And this is a rat race. If one country will say that I will commit to reduce the total carbon dioxide emission to the atmosphere, other countries will definitely be encouraged to match the similar sort of intervention in their countries as well. I see that 3 things are taking place. One, that the traditional fossil fuel cars are being displaced, not only in the EU country, but also in the US and in China. That all the new cells of electric vehicle is now almost at par to and hybrid vehicle, of course, as at par to fossil fuel powered vehicle. That's the number one. Number 2 is the renewable energy, or in renewable energy sources are being exploited to the extent possible. It's not only one country that is leading that. Entire world, all the countries around the world, wherever there is a stable process, that is happening. Number 2. Number 3, which is also a very, very, very interesting thing, is now even to the carbon is being traded, globally. And in fact, in that one, many countries are coming forward and kind of, buying and selling, carbon from different parts of the world. They're finding, new ways to justify or establish new carbon dioxide emission regime, which has never been witnessed by humanity in the world. So something is happening, but I think like we may be already too late to get the horse by its or the bull by its horn. Thank you.
Thank you. So young people can be positive about the future. Yes,
absolutely. They have got a lot to contribute on this one.
Can I say something, Sylvia?
Of course.
The moderator. I will be short, but I think let's to answer the question of Marco. I think we are in a climate pandemic, and in climate pandemic, we have almost forgotten where the origin is from. I think we are all busy in taking action. Of course, we should know where it came from so that next time we are better prepared. But I don't think the climate change is going to come again when they wash off the whole humanity. So I think who is a larger consumer and what they should do is important, no doubt. But the time has come for everyone to take action. And that's why the youth can set the example. But the smart campus is a precursor to the smart cities. And the smart cities are precursor to the smart country. So that a country can become a carbon neutral. I mean, I would like to see that not only the school campus, and I want to give you an example that in China, there is an NGO called Operation Earth, which has a school pioneer partnership, which says that right from the school time, and UNESCO is a partner in it, TERRE Policy Centre is a partner in it, that the school campus of students age less than 16, they are taking action on climate change. And what is needed now is that the small city like Casale Monferrato probably should take some example from the university campuses and declare that Casale Monferrato will go carbon neutral. And this wave should start, and it is not just a promise and slogan, but start action. I think Federico gave a good example of electrical vehicles and all those things that he is doing. It's inspiring examples. So I think the time has come for everyone to act. Thank you.
Thank you very much for the good point. And we would like to invite anybody, if they want to maybe raise your hand with the action, with the reaction, then we can turn your video and webcam on. So maybe you have a comment or a question that you would like to do to the speakers. So please don't be shy. So while we wait for somebody to raise their hand, I would also like to invite you, because we would like to make a group screenshot. So another reason to turn on your webcams and say hello. So we will use it also for dissemination of this important event. Okay, I see the first one coming up. Hello, Manuel. So thank you. And anybody else who want to share their webcams, please feel free. And ciao, Madi. Also, if you want to raise your hand or have any questions or any comments. Okay, we see a lot of friends. That's great. Ciao, Arben. Okay. Anybody from the speakers maybe want to make a closing remark, final comment?
Secondo me basta che clicchi sul banner a sinistra. Non cliccarci sopra. Chiedi di attivare video.
Okay. So I thank everybody for the attention and for being with us today. And by the way,
I think Sunil has a point to make.
Sunil? Okay. You're raising your hand. Sorry. Thank you. Please, I ask you to unmute yourself. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me in your meeting today. I just wanted to make a few points. I don't know how much time have I got.
Please go ahead. We want to hear what you say.
Okay, you can stop me when you want to stop me. Okay. Now I work in the area of ocean governance, and for me, ocean is quite significant in the sense, if I just give you one example, that we always say that 70%, we teach at schools, because we mentioned schools and universities, we teach at schools that 70% of the ocean, 70% of the planet is ocean, so by surface, but actually 99% of the world's biological biosphere, as we call it, is ocean. And also to take the current context that we are holding this webinar by internet, through internet, and 99% of all the internet traffic goes through the ocean. So the so-called cloud that which we always talk about, the cloud is not in the cloud, not in the sky, but it is in the sea. All the maritime cables which are carrying this communication that we are having, that is going through the sea. And to protect our environment, on the one hand, we always say that we need 1 trillion new trees. Yeah? But more importantly, we have to also think in the same way as the ocean, because oceans have got mangroves, seagrass, and corals. And we have to think of these three as our triple insurance against imminent climate catastrophe. So mangroves at the coastal level, seagrass at the intertidal zone or somewhat deeper, and corals going further down. So those are our triple insurance. And the other thing that comes to my mind is that we talk of climate change as the biggest existential issue, apart from, of course, COVID. But COVID is here today and will be gone tomorrow. But climate change is here to stay. But even bigger issues than climate change are the disruption of nitrogen cycle. It's a much bigger issue than climate change, and the loss of biological diversity, which is an even bigger issue. So these are three issues that have to be tackled with, and loss of biological diversity is the biggest of them. The nitrogen cycle is somewhat less big, and the climate change, in fact, is the smallest, but that is our biggest challenge at this time. So you can just compare those three things. And the whole thing has arisen, and Dr. Shende just mentioned the things like, electric vehicles, etc. Those are the solutions for the future. But for this time today, we have to also think how the humanity has been working all this time, because nothing is good for us until we can cut, dig, and kill it, and the animals also do the same. But we do it in a much more skilled way, much more what you call as a professional, not professional, but unprofessional way, in a mega way, not like the animals do with they're living within their social within their ecosystem. But then we added to cut, dig, and kill, we added burn. And that is the worst thing that has affected the humanity in the last couple of 100 years, more than 200 years, since the Industrial Revolution, is the systematic and the large scale burning of fossil fuels. And that can only change if we get into renewable energy, and so on. I can talk about it, at length.
Thank you very much, Sunil.
I just want to make a final. I just want to make a final comment by saying that our planet is too big to fail. That is what we thought. That is a wrong narrative. Then we said the planet is too big to fix. That's again a wrong narrative. What we have to say is the planet is too big to ignore, and we ignore it at our own peril. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this comment. It was very important, and we appreciate your participation. I would like also to ask Madi to say a few words, since I saw you raise your hand. Madi Sakande. Just for introduction, I know a lot of you know him, but for those who don't, he's the president of the Union of African Actors and Association of Refrigeration and Air Conditioning.
Thank you, Sylvia, for the floor. Good morning, good afternoon to some of you. Congratulations to this webinar. It's very interesting. And I would like to emphasize what my dear friend Rajendra said about the use of solar energy to power the cooling system. I want also to remind that we have to have another view on refrigeration sector. Of course, we used to talk about refrigeration sector last day about climate change, so we need to adjust the consumption. We need to adjust also to avoid the leakages. But refrigeration sector is not a source of problem, it's a source of a solution. So we have to change the view of refrigeration sector as a problem. It's a solution. Only with refrigeration sector we can reach the 17 SDG. Without refrigeration sector, we cannot develop people, we cannot do nothing. So we have to take a refrigeration sector as a solution and not a problem. we celebrate the refrigeration sector. We talk about, not even celebrate, we talk about the refrigeration sector when we talk about climate change, when we talk about ozone. Refrigeration sector mean more than this. Refrigeration sector is the solution to develop this world. And if we want to have a new world, develop it with people without dying anymore by hungry, we need to develop refrigeration sector in the developing country. Such enough, we have a solar, so we can develop the solar system and we solve all the issues in this world. To change the paradigm to talk a refrigeration sector has a problem. Refrigeration sector is not a problem, it's a solution. Even in climate change, we contribute only 10%, not 90%. The 90% which industry is impacting with 90%. Only 10% we focus all our energy to talk about refrigeration sectors is a problem, because of climate change. No, refrigeration sector is the solution to live in equity in a better world. So we have to change our mind, how we view refrigeration sector, and then our politicians have to set a new view to develop this world and to have an equal and right everywhere, and to have people feeded everywhere and to support everywhere. And of course, we will live in the better conditions, and then we will never be in impact anymore on the environment, because we are talking refrigeration sector, energy consumption, and the release of refrigerant in atmosphere. There is some other issues bigger than this we're not talking about. And if we resolve the problem of food safety, if we resolve the problem of migration, that we can do it, because I'm talking to you from Burkina Faso. And right now we just end our General Assembly. Our first General Assembly of U3, we unite almost all African countries, because we have 47 countries in this union. We are working to change the paradigm, to let people know, to let politicians know that refrigeration sector is the key to sustainable development. And at the UN level, at international level institution, we have to see refrigeration as a solution and not a problem of climate change. If you continue to see refrigeration sector as a problem, we will never fix this problem, because the refrigerant is inside the system, not outside. The leakages is happened because the system are not sealed. You have just to spend money to train technicians to seal the system, and we don't have any more to talk about leakages, because the refrigerant is not made to be released in the ambient, it's made to be in the system or in the cylinder. So we have to review this matter and stop talking about the refrigeration sector when we are talking about climate change. We refrigerate or ozone day. We talk about refrigeration, about when we celebrate the ozone day, and when we talk about climate. Refrigeration sector mean more than this. And we, actor of refrigeration, we have to change this paradigm. I ask to Raj, my friend Rajendra, who already know the system, to let them know that we have to change the way to see refrigeration sector. Thank you so much for this opportunity to share with you. Thank you.
Federico need to leave.
Sorry, but I need to leave because you have another meeting. Sorry. Have a nice day to everything.
Everybody.
And thank you.
Thanks, Federico. I also need to leave. Unfortunately, we have another roundtable event in preparation for COP26 here in Edinburgh, near Glasgow as well.
Have a nice day. Ciao, Madi. Ciao, Madi.
All the best.
All the best, Dr. Shen, everyone.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
If you turn your camera on, we do a picture together. You turn your camera on. Very good. Also, George Freeman has got a question. George Freeman? Coffee? George Freeman coffee? No. Okay. Any closing remarks? So, if I may, I thank you, everyone. I thank you, Banu Leopane from UNESCO. Thank you, Rajendra Shende from TERRE. Thank you, Silvia, for the moderator. Thank you, Durga, for organizing everything. Thank you to all the participants, all the speakers, Alberto from La Regia, we say in Italian. So thank you, everyone. So see you soon in our next conferences, next events. And long live to refrigeration, air conditioning, skills, and let's work together to combat climate change. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.